You will never earn more money than you think you deserve. You will never attract better relationships than you believe you're worthy of. You will never achieve bigger success than your self-image allows. And right now, at this very moment, you're walking around sending signals to the entire world about exactly what level of success you think you deserve. Your clothes are sending signals. Your posture is sending signals. The way you speak, the way you negotiate, the way you show up to meetings, all of it is broadcasting one message. This is what I'm worth. And here's what nobody wants to admit because it's uncomfortable. And it challenges everything we've been taught about positive thinking and manifesting. You can want success desperately. You can visualize it every morning. You can create vision boards and repeat affirmations until you're blue in the face. But if you believe the voice inside, but if you don't act like someone who deserves it, you will sabotage every opportunity that comes your way. Success isn't avoiding you because you're unlucky, or because the system is rigged, or because other people have advantages you don't have. Success is avoiding you because your behavior is telling it to stay away. You are sitting on a fortune right now, not in your bank account, not in some inheritance waiting to arrive. The fortune sits inside your own mind, locked behind one single question that most people are too afraid to ask themselves. Here it is. Do you act like someone who deserves success, or do you act like someone who hopes success might accidentally find them one day? That question will change your life if you answer it honestly, because here's what I've learned after working with thousands of people across every industry, every background, every starting point you can think of. Your results in life are never about what you want. They're about what you think you deserve. And here's the part that will shake you awake. You're already acting out your answer to that question every single day. Your behavior right now is broadcasting to the world exactly what level of success you believe you're worthy of receiving. Let me be clear about something. Deserving success has nothing to do with entitlement. This isn't about walking around demanding things you haven't earned. This is about something far more powerful. When you act like you deserve success, you're sending a signal to yourself and everyone around you. You're programming your subconscious mind with expectations instead of wishes. You're moving through the world with the quiet confidence that says, I belong here. And that changes absolutely everything. The person who acts deserving walks into a room differently. They speak differently. They negotiate differently. They set their prices differently. They choose their relationships differently. Most importantly, they treat themselves differently. Your self-image, that picture you hold of yourself in your mind, controls your performance like a thermostat controls temperature. You can push yourself temporarily above what you think you deserve, but you'll always drift back down to match your self-image unless you change it. This is why lottery winners often end up broke. This is why people who lose weight gain it back. This is why someone can get a promotion and then sabotage themselves out of the position. They never upgraded their internal picture. They never started acting like someone who deserves that new level. Now here's where this gets practical, where the rubber meets the road. Deserving isn't something you wait to feel. It's something you practice into existence. You start acting like the person who already has what you want, and that action creates the feeling, which creates the belief, which creates the reality. This is the preparation principle, and it's one of the most powerful success secrets you'll ever apply. Let me tell you about a man named Gerald. Gerald wanted to open a restaurant in a small town where he grew up. He had saved some money, found a location, and got everything ready. But here's what made Gerald different. 3 months before opening day, he started acting like he was already running the most popular restaurant in town. He practiced greeting customers in his empty dining room. He timed himself on service speed. He perfected his recipes for crowds he didn't have yet. He trained his small staff to handle rush periods that hadn't arrived. His friends thought he was crazy. Why practice for crowds when you don't have customers? But Gerald understood something crucial. Preparation creates magnetic attraction. When opening day came, Gerald didn't act nervous or desperate. He moved with smooth confidence. He handled the moderate first-week crowd like a seasoned professional. Word spread fast. Within 2 months, he had lines out the door. Within 6 months, he expanded. People felt his confidence and wanted to be part of it. Gerald acted like someone who deserved a successful restaurant before he had proof. And that behavior created the proof. This is the difference between hoping and expecting. When you hope for success, you're passive. You're waiting for permission from the universe. You're asking if maybe, possibly, if the stars align, something good might happen to you. But when you expect success, when you act deserving, you're active. You're preparing, you're positioning. You're becoming the person who naturally attracts what you want, because you're already living as if it's on its way. Think about how you prepare for a guaranteed event versus an uncertain one. If you know company is coming to your home tonight, you clean up, you prepare food, you get everything ready with certainty. But if you think company might come, maybe, possibly, you do a half-effort job or nothing at all. Success works the same way. You've got to clean your house before the guests arrive. Right now, this very moment, your life is showing you exactly what you believe you deserve. Look at your bank account. That number reflects what you think you're worth to the marketplace. Look at your relationships. The way people treat you reflects what you've taught them you'll accept. Look at your opportunities. The doors opening or closing reflect the energy you're putting out into the world. This isn't mystical thinking. This is practical psychology. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. You teach the marketplace what you're worth by how you price yourself. You teach success whether to find you by how you prepare for it. And here's the hard truth that sets people free. If you don't like what you're seeing, you're the only one who can change it. Not by wishing, not by complaining, but by changing your behavior to match the level you want to reach. This is what I call breaking the tolerance trap. Most people are trapped in a life they've tolerated into existence. They tolerate low pay because asking for more feels uncomfortable. They tolerate bad relationships because being alone feels scary. They tolerate mediocre results because excellence requires effort. And every day they tolerate these things. They're acting like someone who deserves exactly what they're getting. Settling isn't just accepting less. Settling is the silent suicide of your potential. It's killing your future one compromised day at a time. So the question becomes, how do champions act? What do successful people do differently from everyone else? And I'm going to tell you something that might surprise you. Champions don't act successful after they win. They act successful long before anyone knows their name. They walk the walk before they can talk the talk. This is the secret that separates the top 5% from everyone else. They start behaving like the person they want to become immediately, not eventually. Think about this carefully right now. There's a version of you that exists 5 years in the future. That future version has achieved the goals you're dreaming about today. They have the income, the confidence, the lifestyle, the respect. Now here's the critical question. How does that future version of you dress? How do they speak? What time do they wake up? How do they handle problems? What do they read? Who do they spend time with? You need to answer these questions with brutal honesty, and then you need to start doing those things now. Not when you can afford it, not when you feel ready, now. Let me tell you about Douglas. Douglas was selling office equipment and barely making his bills. He looked around at the top producers in his company and noticed something. They all dressed sharp. Expensive suits, polished shoes, quality briefcases. Douglas was wearing department store suits and wondering why clients didn't take him seriously. He had a decision to make. He could wait until he made more money to dress better, or he could dress better to make more money. He chose the latter. Douglas took money he didn't really have and bought 2 excellent suits, proper shoes, and a quality watch. The first day he wore his new outfit. Something shifted. He stood taller. He spoke with more authority. But here's what really mattered. his clients responded differently. They assumed he was successful, so they treated him like someone successful. They trusted his recommendations more readily. They signed bigger contracts. Within 3 months, Douglas doubled his income. Within a year, he was the top producer. The close didn't make him successful. The decision to act like someone who deserved success made him successful. The close were just the visible representation of an internal shift. Now, I need to address something important here. Some people hear this advice and think it means fake it until you make it. That's incomplete and dangerous. You're not faking anything. You're not pretending to be something you're not. You're stepping into the person you're becoming. There's a massive difference. Faking is lying. Becoming is growing. When you act like you deserve success, you're not lying to anyone. You're telling the truth about your future before it arrives in your present. You're living from your potential instead of your history. This is what top performers understand that average people miss entirely. Your past doesn't define you unless you let it. Your current circumstances don't limit you unless you accept them as permanent. The only thing that matters is the standards you set for yourself right now, in this moment, standards. Let's talk about this word because it's one of the most powerful concepts in human achievement. Your standards are the minimum level of quality you'll accept in any area of your life. And here's what most people don't realize. Your standards determine your trajectory more than your goals ever will. You can have big goals and low standards, and you'll fail every time. But if you have high standards, even without specific goals, you'll end up successful because you simply won't tolerate mediocrity. Look at how this plays out practically. Someone with low standards shows up to work on time occasionally. Someone with high standards shows up early every single day without exception. Someone with low standards does what's required. Someone with high standards does what's excellent. Someone with low standards accepts whatever salary they're offered. Someone with high standards negotiate for what they're worth. You see the difference? Standards create a floor beneath you. They say, I will not go below this level no matter what, and that floor rises over time as you prove to yourself what you're capable of maintaining. The person who acts like they deserve success has standards that match that success level immediately. They don't wait for the promotion to act professional. They act professional, which creates the promotion. Now, here's where most people struggle, and I want to address this head on because it's crucial. When you raise your standards and start acting like you deserve more, your current environment will often resist. The people around you might mock you. They might say you're getting too big for your situation. They might try to pull you back down to their level. This is the test. This is where you find out if you're serious or just dabbling. Because acting like you deserve success means you've got to make some hard decisions about who you spend time with. I'm going to say this directly. Your associations will determine your direction faster than almost any other factor. Show me your 5 closest friends and I'll show you your future. If you're surrounding yourself with people who complain, who settle, who mock ambition, who celebrate mediocrity, you will become like them. It's not a maybe. It's a certainty. Your brain is designed to mirror the people you're around most often. This is why you've got to upgrade your associations even when it feels uncomfortable. Let me tell you about Leonard. Leonard was a programmer working a regular job, making average money, hanging out with guys who spent weekends playing video games and complaining about their bosses. Leonard wanted more. But every time he mentioned wanting to start a business or learn new skills, his friends would laugh. They'd say he was dreaming too big. They'd remind him of every person who failed. Finally, Leonard made a hard choice. He joined a mastermind group of programmers who were running successful businesses. These people were years ahead of him. They charged rates 5 times what he charged. They worked with major clients. And here's what happened. Being around them changed Leonard faster than any course or book ever could. He heard how they talked to clients. He learned how they structured their services. He absorbed their confidence. Within 6 months, Leonard had left his job and was running his own consulting practice. Within a year, he was earning more than he ever had. His old friends said he got lucky, but Leonard knew the truth. He got intentional. He placed himself in proximity to the level he wanted to reach, and that proximity pulled him upward. You cannot hang around chickens and expect to soar. You've got to find the people who are flying and figure out how to spend time with them, even if it costs you, even if it scares you, even if you feel like you don't belong yet. Act like you deserve to be in those rooms, and eventually you'll realize you do. Now, let's get something straight right now, because this is where people get confused about deserving. Acting like you deserve success is not about entitlement. It's not about demanding things you haven't earned. It's the exact opposite. When you truly act like you deserve success, you become obsessed with creating value. You become focused on contribution. You understand a fundamental law of economics and life. The marketplace rewards value delivered. Nothing else. You get paid for bringing solutions, not for having problems. You get promoted for producing results, not for showing up. You build wealth by solving bigger problems for more people. This is the value creation formula, and it's absolutely non-negotiable. If you want to deserve more, you must give more, not eventually, not when someone notices, starting right now. Here's what happens in most people's minds. They think they deserve a raise, so they wait for their boss to recognize their worth. They think they deserve better clients, so they wait for someone to refer them. They think they deserve success, so they wait for an opportunity to appear. But that's not how deserving works. That's hoping with extra steps. When you act like you deserve something, you go create the evidence that proves it. You want a raise. You start producing at the level that makes you undeniably valuable. You document your results. You solve problems before they're assigned to you. You make your boss's life easier every single day until asking for more money becomes obvious instead of awkward. You want better clients. You develop skills that attract better clients. You create work so good that premium buyers seek you out. You position yourself in markets where quality matters more than price. You see the difference? Deserving through action means you create the conditions for success instead of waiting for conditions to change. This brings us to something I call skill stacking, and it's one of the most practical ways to act like you deserve more. You become so good at what you do that people cannot ignore you. You build capabilities that make you irreplaceable, or at least extremely expensive to replace. And here's the beautiful part. Competence builds confidence naturally. When you know you're excellent, you don't have to pretend to be confident. You just are. You've earned the right to walk into any room and know you belong there because you've put in the work. Most people want the confidence without the competence. They want to feel deserving without doing what earns it. That's fantasy. Real confidence comes from real ability. And real ability comes from dedicated practice over time. Every single day you should be getting better at your craft. Every week you should be learning something new. Every month you should be able to do things you couldn't do before. This is the daily investment in capability that separates professionals from amateurs. Let me tell you about Gloria. Gloria was a teacher who dreamed of becoming a speaker and trainer. She had good ideas, but when she got in front of groups, she froze. Her presentations were boring, people checked their phones, she knew she had value to offer, but she wasn't good enough yet to deserve the opportunities she wanted. So Gloria made a decision. For 1 full year, she would practice presenting every single day. She joined a speaking club. She volunteered to present at every meeting at her school. She recorded herself and watched the painful videos to improve. She studied great speakers and copied their techniques. She presented to her family, her mirror, even her dog. Day after day, week after week, month after month, after that year, Gloria wasn't just good, she was exceptional. Her presentations were engaging, powerful, moving. And then something interesting happened. Opportunities started appearing. She got invited to speak at conferences. Schools hired her for professional development. Companies brought her in for training. Within 2 years, she had left teaching and was running a successful speaking business. Did Gloria get lucky? No. Gloria got skilled. She acted like someone who deserved speaking opportunities by becoming someone who could deliver value when those opportunities arrived. This is what I call the consistency compound, and it's the most underrated force in achievement. Small actions, repeated consistently, create massive results over time. But most people quit before the compound effect kicks in. They practice for a week and expect mastery. They work hard for a month and expect recognition. They stay consistent for 90 days and wonder where the breakthrough is. Here's the truth. Success is boring. It's doing the same productive things over and over when you don't feel like it, when nobody's watching, when results seem distant. It's showing up on Tuesday with the same intensity you had on Monday. It's making the calls, doing the work, studying the material, practicing the skills, maintaining the standards, even when motivation is gone. Motivation is what gets you started. Discipline is what keeps you going. And discipline is simply acting like you deserve results by doing what produces results, regardless of how you feel. Champions do what others won't, which is why they achieve what others can't. While everyone else is sleeping in, the champion is up early working on their goals. While everyone else is watching television, the champion is reading, learning, practicing, while everyone else is taking the easy path. The champion is taking the effective path. And here's what builds over time. Reliability becomes reputation. When people know you'll deliver, when they know you'll show up, when they know you'll do what you say, you become valuable in a way that's hard to measure but impossible to ignore. Your word becomes gold. Your presence becomes trusted. Your work becomes sought after. But this doesn't happen because you talk about being reliable. It happens because you are reliable consistently over months and years. This is the invisible work that creates visible success. Nobody sees the early mornings. Nobody sees the late nights. Nobody sees the practice sessions, the failed attempts, the persistence through difficulty. They only see the results. And when they see your success, they'll call it luck or talent or connections, but you'll know the truth. You acted like someone who deserved it by earning it through consistent, valuable action. Now we come to the moment where theory meets reality. You can prepare, you can practice, you can build skills and raise standards, but none of it matters until you do one thing. You must speak up and claim what you want. This is where most people fail. They do the work, they create the value, they become capable, and then they sit silently waiting for someone to notice. Let me tell you something that will save you years of frustration. Nobody is coming to rescue you. Nobody is going to tap you on the shoulder and say, "I've been watching you, and I think you deserve more." You must ask for what you want without apology, without shrinking, without making yourself small to make others comfortable. This is the speak up principle, and it's absolutely critical. When you act like you deserve something, you advocate for yourself clearly and confidently. You negotiate your salary, you pitch your ideas, you ask for the sale, you request the opportunity, you state your needs in relationships. Silence costs you everything, because silent people get silent results. Here's what happens when you don't speak up. Other people, often less qualified, less prepared, less deserving by any measure, will ask for and receive what you wanted, not because they're better, because they asked. The marketplace doesn't reward the best in silence. It rewards the best who make themselves known. Think about this in practical terms. Two people do excellent work. One assumes their work speaks for itself and waits quietly for recognition. The other does excellent work and then schedules a meeting to discuss their contributions and future compensation. Who gets the raise? Every single time. The person who speaks up wins. Not because the other person doesn't deserve it, but because deserving plus asking equals receiving. Deserving plus silence equals hoping. Now, when you start speaking up, asking for what you want, claiming your position, You're going to face rejection. This is guaranteed. Not everyone will say yes. Not every pitch will land. Not every negotiation will succeed. And this is where you develop what I call rejection immunity. You must handle no like a professional. You must understand that rejection is not personal, it's information. Every no teaches you something. Every closed door redirects you to an open one. Every person who says not interested moves you closer to the person who says absolutely yes. Top performers understand that success is a numbers game. You must make enough attempts that the percentages work in your favor. If you make one phone call and get rejected, you'll feel defeated. If you make 100 phone calls and get rejected 90 times, you'll have 10 yeses and momentum. The difference isn't skill, it's volume and persistence. Let me tell you about Walter. Walter started a software company with a product he believed would revolutionize small business accounting. He needed investment to scale. He prepared an excellent presentation, practiced his pitch, and started meeting with investors. The first investor said no. The second said no. The 10th said no. The 20th said no. After 30 rejections, Walter's friends told him to give up. They said if the idea was good, someone would have funded it by now. But Walter understood something they didn't. He wasn't getting rejected 30 times. He was getting closer to yes 30 times. Each meeting taught him something. Each question helped him refine his pitch. Each objection showed him what to improve. On his 41st meeting, an investor said yes. That one yes funded his company within 3 years. Walter had built a multi-million-dollar business. Those first 40 rejections weren't failures. They were tuition in the University of Success. Walter acted like someone who deserved funding by persisting until he found the person who agreed. He built emotional resilience through exposure. Each no hurt less. Each rejection bothered him less. He developed skin thick enough to handle the journey. This is what you must build. You cannot be fragile and successful. You cannot need everyone's approval and achieve great things. You must develop the ability to hear no and keep moving, to face criticism and stay focused, to encounter obstacles and find another path. Acting like you deserve success means you expect some people won't see your value, and you don't let that stop you from finding the people who will. Your job is not to convince everyone. Your job is to find your people. Serve them excellently and let the results speak now. As you're building all of this, as you're acting deserving, creating value, speaking up, handling rejection, you must maintain something crucial: gratitude. This might seem contradictory. How can you be grateful for what you have while demanding more? But this is the balance that separates sustainable success from destructive ambition. You must appreciate your current level while refusing to accept it as your ceiling. Gratitude isn't settling. Gratitude is acknowledging progress while pursuing more. When you're grateful, you stay energized, you notice opportunities, you maintain relationships, you keep perspective. People who lack gratitude become bitter in their pursuit. They achieve milestones and immediately dismiss them. They reach goals and feel empty. They compare constantly and feel miserable. But people who practice gratitude while growing enjoy the journey. They celebrate small wins. They acknowledge how far they've come while focusing on how far they'll go. This isn't soft thinking. This is strategic psychology. Gratitude accelerates attraction because grateful people are magnetic. They're pleasant to work with. They acknowledge others. They create positive environments. Success flows toward gratitude and away from entitlement. So here we are. You now understand what it means to act like you deserve success. You prepare before proof arrives. You walk like a champion before you win championships. You create value obsessively. You build skills relentlessly. You speak up confidently. You handle rejection professionally. You maintain gratitude constantly. This is the claiming ceremony. Right now, this moment, you claim ownership of your worthiness. Not someday, not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel ready, now. You make a decision that changes everything. You decide that you deserve success. and you back that decision with behavior that proves it. Decision precedes evidence. You don't wait to see it to believe it. You believe it, act on it, and then you see it. The life you want is waiting for you to step into it. Not to stumble into it, not to luck into it, to step into it with intention and action. Everything changes the moment you start acting like the person who already has what you want. Your posture changes, your language changes, your choices change, your results change. You are one decision away from a completely different life. That decision is to act like you deserve it, starting right now.